Okay, it is 6:02, and I will call this meeting to order of the Windsor Southeast Supervisory Union. Any changes, additions to the agenda? Okay. Approval of minutes, October 27th, 2025. I will take a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Megan?
I wasn't here.
Seconded.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. Any discussion points? I actually read through them, which I tried to, but it was very concise and well written. Okay, I will take a voice vote. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
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 Abstain.
Any abstentions?
Yes.
Okay, Amy and Nancy abstain. You kind of caught me off guard, Nancy.
Sorry.
Those opposed, say nay. Nay.
Nice.
Okay. Don't get me giggling. Okay, so they have been approved. Public participation and announcements. I always forget the announcement parts. Public comments is not legally required, but we believe it is crucial for us to hear from our community members about their concerns over issues. Through these meetings, our board models for our students how to conduct public discourse, and that the board and members of our community can approach controversial issues in a civil and constructive manner and can demonstrate mutual respect. Having said that, please note that the board is here to listen. The public comment period is designed for discussion. Please start by identifying yourself and what town you reside in. We have actually someone here and some people online. Do we have any public comments? Hearing no public comments, any announcements?
I always turn it down, and I did. Thank you.
Wasn't? I'm not. Hold on 1 second. It wasn't there a still student who is in the cabinet of the first ever kid governor?
There is, yes. A student who was a finalist, and we watched the video at the Wethersfield meeting the other night. He focused on improving food quality. His last name is McNaughton. I'm going to forget his first name. I can look it up.
That's pretty great.
And it was incredible. And the kids all watched.
It's Galen McNaughton is his name.
Oh, thanks, Anne Marie.
Did he get to be on the cabinet?
He is not the kid governor.
Right.
He is on the cabinet.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I knew 7 of them were.
Yeah.
Could be on.
Pretty impressive. Actually.
Very.
And his video was fantastic. And we watched it last week at the Wethersfield board meeting, and he was the only one with a blooper reel. So we've had hopes.
Excellent.
He's the only one with what?
A blooper reel. So at the end of the video, he
Oh,
showed
Oh, how cute.
Yeah, it was
Oh, that's
very
fun.
good. Yeah, but to make it that far is
Yes.
quite an
That's great.
accomplishment. So yes, very exciting. So hopefully next year we'll do it again. It's the first year for it. So
Awesome.
So as usual, my wife attends the Albert Bridge dinner, the Thanksgiving feast. She said that by far this was the best year ever. Which is so well organized, the food was good, and so many people participated.
Good turnout.
So it was wonderful. So
And I went to the ACE Thanksgiving dinner, and that was spectacular too. And it was very well attended. And most of the lots of the faculty came also,
Okay.
which was great.
Okay. Any other announcements?
Oh, the play?
No.
Not yet. It's
next week.
It's coming up, yes, the first full week of December.
Yeah.
At the end. And I think from what I heard, it's Friday, 2 on Saturday, and one on Sunday.
Wow.
It's a lot
Wow.
of play. There'll be a lot of looking.
And it's Mamma Mia.
I was gonna say, it shows
And
me,
it's not the junior version. It's long.
Yeah.
I go to every one. On
And,
Saturday, I'm gonna have to nap between plays.
And the Windsor concert is coming up as well. This is fun.
The Windsor concert is
coming
up.
I'm trying to see these on
The
the calendar.
ninth
It's not
and-
working.
Yes.
Week after.
Yeah, Tuesday is the elementary school and middle school. is the
So
next-
it's the 11th,
I think,
the
yeah,
ninth
the ninth is
Is
the little
Windsor
kid.
K5.
9th is Sunday, I think.
No, it's
December 9th, Windsor K5 and Weathersfield board meeting, so.
Hannah's birthday is the 7th. as well.
And the 10th is the Windsor concert at 6 p.m.
There you go.
And I'm looking to see if there's maybe.
My play.
Yes, got a new music teacher.
Yes,
Mhm.
I know there's a concert, I'm just not sure if it'll.
Someone
The
I know
holidays
and
are
love is in the play. Sammy is one of the Moss.
Okay, is that it for announcements? Policy discussion, followed by motion if needed, and we have a lot of motions tonight. I will take a motion to approve C8, pupil privacy, that is the third reading.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, any discussion? Reading through this again, it's fairly boilerplate. It covers several required laws. And, yeah, anything else?
Yeah, I recall our update is we changed parent to legal guardian. Was that, I think that was the only edit we made, right?
The right of a legal guardian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the language again. Yeah, it's
Yep.
very straightforward.
Okay. And so I will take a roll call vote. Davis?
Aye.
Nancy?
Aye.
Elizabeth?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Megan?
Aye.
Anne Marie?
Aye.
Did I forget Nancy?
No, you got me.
you forgot Megan is going around the table.
Oh. Heather?
Aye.
Oh, thank you, Heather. And I think that's it. John here? Okay, so that passes. D8, I will take a motion to approve D8, selection of library materials. This is the third reading.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, any discussion? Again, we had a public comment on this from a local librarian last week. And I spoke to a couple Hartford high school students about their feeling of not really having books in their library, and it just like there's no impact. No one took them out anyway. And I asked them if they had resources, and they went through a few of the resources. So,
But
but
it was one of the things I wanted to bring up during the thing. Act 1 does require that all students have access to printed materials,
mhm.
printed library. Where is it?
Yeah, so Hartford, I believe, like Windsor High School, has they have a library person there. And so if they have a need for a resource, the library gets it for them. Printed.
They, at the high school level, they don't, there's an elementary librarian that services the elementary students. I'm sure could get them books if they went to her, but they're not shelved there.
Right, no, these aren't shelved there either, but they get them through Vermont State.
Library, interlibrary.
Yeah,
Um,
So I can talk to Kate about that.
Yeah.
I know that the library has been repurposed, grown into a different need.
Yeah.
Or grown to cover a different need in the school.
So,
the space of it has,
Yes, the space of it.
but, I think Liz Frederick's concern, and I share this concern, is there's a difference between being able to have access to a book and being able to go to a library.
Mhm.
There's a big difference there.
They have access online, as Bridget shared last month, to the new online program that she shared. I can't remember the name of it.
They do?
They do.
Do they know that they do?
I will find out if the kids know. It's relatively new, so it may not have been rolled out yet.
And the other question
It's
was,
not, they're not physical books. They're online resources.
yeah, so that was another question, like, do they have to access, those materials on their laptops? Then,
Good question.
like, do they have,
so thank
Oh,
you,
there it is.
Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
So, I would suggest, because, I'm glad that the subject is going to continue. And I did bring it up, so I will take responsibility, even though it doesn't relate to the motion. I do think we should explore this more at the, Ascutney board level.
Yep.
Because,
yeah, definitely. Well, it has to do with, I mean, it's among the questions I have to ask about Act One compliance.
right. And so if there's Act One compliance or any other, regardless, I think Windsor High School would be better served to deal with this proactively than waiting until a law comes out. So
Mhm.
I
Yep.
would support Davis and anyone else on the Ascutney School Board to further explore this. And I think it's important that students have outside the classroom resources to get the materials they need to explore topics of their interest.
Yeah, and, yes, I agree. I do still think that there's a difference between requesting a book and going into the library and musing about different books.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion?
Yeah, I'll just say I'm happy to continue looking at that topic because I think, would it be possible to get, to have board members have access to that platform? I'd just be interested in seeing what it entails. Like I've used, online research libraries before, pretty effectively. I guess I just want to see what kind of depth of resource they have on this. Because the reality is that a lot of what we, probably even a decade, 5 years ago, would have considered printed resources, a lot of those are just available in their digital form and could be in the law. I guess I'd be interested where it says printed resource available or print resource available. Does it mean that they're able to access something digitally and print a hard copy if they need to? Again, that's something that when I'm doing research on
It says
review, that's what I'm
provide
doing.
students access to the library on a regular basis to use materials for reading, research, and for instruction in the skills needed to select and use information effectively.
All right.
That's what it says.
No, so I think that's something we'll keep in mind for the MASD discussion. But I mean, as far as relates to this policy, I think somewhat ancillary.
Okay, if there's no more discussion, we'll take a roll call vote. Amy?
I, and I also support Mount Escutney School District working on this more.
Thank you, Amy. Anne Marie?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. The pirate vote. Elizabeth?
Aye.
Megan?
Aye.
Nancy?
Aye.
Davis?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay. F5, behavior threat assessment team, third read. I will take a motion to pass F5, behavior threat assessment teams.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Were there any changes that we had? I don't think so. I think there was. Pretty boilerplate. Basically saying we need to have a behavior threat assessment team. Laying out how that should happen. Okay. As there's no discussion, then we'll take a vote. Davis?
Aye.
Nancy?
Aye.
Megan?
Aye.
Elizabeth?
Aye.
Heather?
I.
Oh, thank you. Amy?
Aye.
Anne Marie?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, I will take a motion to pass Windsor Southeast F42 Windsor Southeast Supervisory Union Acceptable Use of Information and Communication Technology.
The only real change in this reading and compared to the longstanding policy is instead of Web 2.0 tools, which nobody really uses anymore, we used online resources.
Yeah.
And grammatical stuff, like instead of WSSU, we changed it to WSESU. There was a lot of mix there. We specifically spoke about Google's core services that our students use, and that was it. And we removed the sign-off sheets because they no longer sign the AUB, they sign the handbook.
Okay. Thank you, Larry. How'd you know it was gonna come to you?
You look my way.
Yeah. Okay, any other discussion?
This is extremely minor, but there's just some very weird font stuff happening in the header.
Did we
So-
make a motion yet?
No,
Did we?
No,
Oh.
No. Yeah.
sorry.
do you want to move?
Yeah.
I can work with Lori on the formatting.
Second.
Okay, Megan moved and remembered that we hadn't gotten that far, and Nancy seconded. Any other discussion?
Where's the font thing?
It might even be just the way that it's rendered on my computer. It's just there's like odd. Yeah,
It's a little different.
The formatting up top.
it's a formatting. Yeah, there's nothing.
I'll make sure it's all consistent.
Material in there. Yeah.
When we put it on the website.
Yeah.
It just is, this looks just a different font.
It's like weird.
Gotcha.
bolded
Yeah,
caps
it is.
in there.
The caps are bolded and
Mine doesn't actually look like.
It looks like there's a hidden message in there, which I don't think.
PSDA.
DARA.
Okay,
I've got a question. Oh, wait, it has been moved.
yes, it has.
So how does this differ, or do we know that this, jibes with the, new law concerning phones?
This doesn't really speak to phones. I think we have a separate policy.
We're waiting for the model
We're
policy.
waiting for BSBA.
From the AOE.
This is more about students' email, Chromebooks,
Yeah.
staff and their email and it's school issued devices. That we own them, that kind of stuff. Doesn't really speak to, cell phone. We're waiting for the VSBA.
We're waiting for a model policy from the AOE. It's supposed to be out by January. That's what I was told last time I asked.
I guess okay,
This policy basically updates our longstanding policy to make sure, I have to show this policy every year for E-rate that we will comply with the Child Information Protection Act, which is a federal law. And this is one of the ways that I show that and then they ask for filtering information and screenshots of our filter and stuff like that.
do you think that when that policy comes out, we could make sure that these
No.
jibe? That was really my question.
Yeah, We'll have, hopefully that on the agenda soon.
Is it fairly clear in the sign off when parents in the handbook that this is,
They're signing off on this as well.
well, they're signing off on not that this is regarding the use of Windsor Southeast Supervisory Union's
AUP.
technology.
Yes, I believe it does,
Okay.
and we're gonna make sure, and that's one of the reasons we had to do the policy first.
Yeah.
When the next handbook comes out, it will say that more explicitly
Okay,
than it currently does.
Yeah. yes,
I just want to point out too, this policy does touch on personal devices under unique local situations.
Mhm.
So I think that, I mean, in my reading, that provides some kind of broad frameworks that could be referenced or cross-referenced when the new policy comes out, but it is in there. There is something to
Where?
talk about.
Under what?
Unique local
Unique local.
situations. It's page 3, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
page 4. Near the top of page 4.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It essentially says that we can, in limited situations, authorize the use of those devices, which I think actually does kind of jive with our current cell phone policy, in which we don't authorize, but we
We
can.
don't have a current policy.
Oh.
We have a practice procedure. Sorry.
Speaks to, no, that's a meaningful
Yeah.
distinction. Yeah, it speaks to our current practice and procedure, but I think it leaves space for that policy to come in and fill in the gray area.
so the way, just to read it out of the first set paragraph. The building administrator may at their discretion authorize the use of specific personal devices in designated locations at determined times. Without such express authorization, however, personally owned computers and related systems shall not be connected to the WSSU network, nor shall they be used on school property, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
so basically what that means, if, a common example would, if you were doing a regional, staff development.
Yeah.
With multiple school districts coming there, you would create a guest pass and those people could log on to our AP and they would fall under this policy.
You got it.
Okay. Okay. Any more discussion? Good questions.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take a voice vote. Beth?
Considering I just got in the meeting, I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. Thank you. Anne Marie?
Aye.
Heather?
I'm coming. Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Davis?
Nancy?
Nancy? Megan?
Aye.
Elizabeth?
Aye.
And I am an aye. Thank you. Okay. Moving right along. I will take a motion to pass the health and safety policy.
So moved.
Second.
There's no number on this.
C80.
C80, there it is. Okay. It's not in there. Okay, any discussion? And again, remind me, this is different from the, this is, let me write, this is different from the, health and wellness policy, in that this is, intended to, update a portion and clarify a portion of the contract and codify it in policy.
I believe we agreed that this language will come out of the contract once the policy is in place.
It's not so much coming out of the contract. It is no longer, it will remain in the contract, but it will be superseded by policy. So it is no longer an active part of the contract.
Yeah, and looking at this, I mean, I recall in the past couple of meetings, this cross-references a bunch of existing policy and more explicitly states that we're complying with VOSHA or OSHA.
Mhm.
And cross-referencing is very important.
Yes.
So it sort of ties everything together.
Yep.
And I have to thank the administration for putting the time into this and getting legal to participate.
Mhm.
Any other discussion? Okay, I will take a voice vote. I will start with Elizabeth.
Aye.
Megan,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Anne Marie,
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
and I am an aye. Okay, thank you. I will take, so C28 transgender and gender non-conforming students. Is this the third read? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I will take a motion to pass C28 transgender and gender non-conforming students.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? I have to say, as I read through it again, this is very well written and well cited.
Yeah, I'll agree. I think that this update, this kind of made the language a little bit more readable from the preceding policy. And I think just terminology wise, like the definitions are a lot clearer and the references to state law are, I mean, they were there to begin with, but I think this definitely just reads a little bit more straightforward.
Yes, definitely. Any other discussion? Okay, I will take a voice vote. Amy, how do you vote?
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Anne Marie,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Aye.
Nancy, Megan,
Aye.
Elizabeth,
Aye.
and I am an aye. Okay. So I will hand this off to the superintendent's report.
Okay. We have a whole new batch of policies for us to work on at our next meeting. Thank you. I know it's not always fun work, but it's important work. All right.
And a lot of work well done.
Yes, it's good. I feel like we're keeping up.
Let's keep up with this.
All right. All right, I'm gonna start tonight, as I usually do, with a little bit of, sharing of how we're doing with student success and engagement. I've got a few, pictures up there which show that our students, once we complete our STAR, assessment in the fall, teachers get together, we do data dives, we set goals, classroom-wide goals, and students start setting goals as well. The younger the student, the more in line with the classroom goal those their independent goals are. As they get older, they start to set more independent goals. We call them WAGs, wildly important goals. I know at one of our schools, the principal meets with every student in grades 3 through 8, and they look at their VCAP scores and they set individual goals based on the amount CAP assessments as well, which is it's really motivating for the kids actually to have somebody sit and talk with them about where they are doing really well and where they can use some extra effort. So those have been happening. I included a flyer for a math night. We've started our community engagement sessions around the SU. This was Westfield. I happened to be able to attend last week. It was quite impressive. All of the different stations that were set up. There are a lot of make and take stations as well, where you could make an activity that you could take home and practice with math facts. There were games that they were able to take home. So really just a wonderful event, which was well attended, and getting kids to have more confidence in math. We had a photo booth with a sign that said math something. I mean, it was very, very clever. So it was a great event. And I know that all the schools are working on creating these community engagement events across the year. Always working on culture and student wellness. I just had to shout out our food service director, Ian Rose. He applied for a fruits and veggies grant, and he received it. It was awarded to us, and he has, I mean, put a lot of time and energy into making the food visually appealing, and kids walk by all the time and snag fruits and vegetables and eat them. It's really great. So, this is a common scene across the schools. It's pretty impressive. So a shout out to Ian. That really does impact the culture. I mean,
I think that's a great idea. Instead of just putting something on
Yeah.
a tray that might be thrown away, this is picked up and.
he actually, since I took this picture, he purchased with some of the grant money, small refrigerators that are in the buildings now. I think all of them. And he's able to keep things full. And so kids, I'll watch kids open the refrigerator, take a basket of tomatoes, walk out the door at the end of the day, which is pretty incredible. There's a lot of kids that don't have enough to eat. So just a shout out to Ian for helping impact our culture. The other picture is our students at the student summit, which Tracy's going to talk about a little bit in her report. But I didn't, but there were some staff members and Tracy went, and she said it was really an impactful event. So I'm going to let her share a little bit about it in her report later on. I wanted to bring you fall conference data. I don't have a high school yet. Kate's working on it. So this was our fall conference data across the SU participation. You can see we are more parents attend elementary conferences as we get into middle and high school.
Okay.
The numbers start to decrease a little bit, but as you can see, our elementary conferences are very high attended, very well attended.
It makes it look like no parents went to Windsor High School, but that's just not true.
We don't have that information yet.
Yeah,
We're
right.
working on it.
I know for a fact
some
that's
there.
not
You were
true.
I know a
there.
parent that was there.
A couple in this room. Yes. No, she sent me the spreadsheet today, but it wasn't, I didn't have time to figure out what the percentage was, so we'll work on that.
So
Pretty
definitely
difficult,
sort of
so.
drop off in middle school.
Yeah.
But I'd be interested to hear from the Heartland
Middle school?
Middle School.
Yeah, we had a pretty good
About
turnout.
what sort of
Yeah.
steps they took to,
Okay.
we get almost 80%. Heather?
As a Heartland Middle School parent, I can tell you that they offered lots of times in the evenings that were mostly remote. So as much as I don't love remote, it was nice to just, like, if you wanted to go in the afternoon, like in the evening, that was the option. And therefore, I think just having those like late evenings, and they had lots of them available. So I think that was it, is those like evening late times, because parents, we work. So
And so everyone here, I'll remind everyone here and anyone online that during contract negotiations, we made it very clear that we were giving teachers the options to do just that. That if they did their meetings in the evenings, then the assigned day, they were welcome not to come in. They didn't have to be in the building. That we were treating them, we were expecting them to act like professionals. So we were going to treat them like professionals. And so,
yeah, I know, I believe Kate and the high school team decided that they were gonna offer conferences that day that they have contractually. And other schools offered some that day, some
Yeah.
at night, some just at night. So we did keep it pretty flexible.
Yeah.
Knowing that parents mostly have evening times available. So,
I have a complaint that I would like to lodge. And that is that, as a parent of a high schooler,
Yeah.
there was no thought given whatsoever to the distance between, like, the distance that would have to be traveled between
okay.
each meeting was only 15 minutes long.
Okay.
We weren't given time in between meetings at all, zero minutes between meetings. And sometimes that meant going, from floor to floor. If you can't use the stairs, then you have to go all the way to the other end to get to the elevator and back.
Okay.
And there was no direction about classrooms. And so
Okay.
it created but for people who can't get around very easily, it meant that some of us missed a majority of the meeting.
Okay.
And that was a shame.
Yeah.
To have made the effort to get there and not be able to go.
I will pass that on. That's important feedback.
Like, it could have been, because we would go from one part of the building to another and then back to the same part of the building.
Yeah.
It could have been coordinated so that they were all closer and
I found that
Proximity.
whatever I wrote, who I wanted to see, that's what I was given in that order. So maybe think about when you're asking,
I just said, all I know is that I have to leave the building by 9:45 a.m. That anything else is, works, but I have to be able to leave by 9:45 was my only.
I think if you had asked and explained what you needed, you would
Well,
get,
I didn't know that they were gonna be 0 minutes in between meetings.
yeah,
Um,
because most of them is in the same hall. So, I just went across this hall or down one room.
we didn't, we went up and down.
Wow.
And it was confusing and also, arduous and needlessly.
And make sure that gets passed on.
Heather
has.
Yeah, Heather, and then I have a question.
And as long as you know, Christine, I will not penalize you in any way for any discussion here, because I believe this is useful.
Yeah.
Can I
Heather?
go? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so now speaking as a high school math teacher at Woodstock Union High School, we do our meetings on 2 Thursdays in November from 3:30 until 7:30 with a like a half an hour lunch break. And the way that we do it is only online. And we use a program called Meet the Teacher. And it literally gives you 10 minutes to talk. And then it literally like shuts you off from the meeting. And it's good and bad, but I'm full every year we have done this. I have been full, and you never have to leave your house, meaning like the parents never have to leave their house, and it makes it, I think more equitable than, trying to go from one end of the building to the other in 2 minutes, because that's what we used to give was a 2-minute passing time when we would do it in person.
Mhm.
So the online has made it really, really, really nice and really convenient. I highly recommend it. Like, I know it's not ideal, but you really get a lot more parents who can do it. And especially if you do it in the evening times, which again, I don't love those days because I teach all day. And then, from 3:30 to 7:30, I'm like in front of my computer. But in the end, I think that it's helpful. And so I would recommend meet the teacher, and also just doing it all online. And we also have like a 9th grade team, and the 9th grade team will do all of theirs together. Like, they will all be in the same room and will video conference with whomever. And it only takes 10 minutes. So 9th grade parents get like a full, everything about their child in 10 minutes. And then they can meet with their other teachers besides those who are on the 9th grade team.
My question was, can they still come in and meet the teacher in person at some point?
So we have an open house in the beginning of the school year, like in October, where they can come and meet me, or meet anybody really. But no, there's no in-person option. And we've done that because like the 2 days that we do our parent-teacher conferences, most teachers are full. So, and then again, when you do it with, in person, you do run into this, like parents are late and then, they're running from one room to the other. And it seems like it's harder for parents. And like, I mean, you can look at my beautiful face over line as opposed to in person. And I feel like we can still have the same conversation.
Davis?
Yeah, so I guess this is a suggestion, catching a question kind of. So it seems like, and we've heard a couple kind of case studies that seem to show that having an online option at least can increase the amount of engagement that parents have in these conferences. And I wonder if there might just be a way of working that in without getting rid of an in-person option. The first thing that comes to mind to me is, if you had conferences set up so they defaulted to online, but there was a request for in-person or something like that, right? So we're keeping all these avenues to accessibility for folks who might not be as comfortable with technology or have good internet connection, that kind of thing, to come in and do this. But we're starting from a place where we're at, we're not worrying about moving between rooms. We're not as worried about, parking is a big issue. I know at Windsor School, that can be kind of dicey. So it's worth exploring, I think.
Megan?
I was just saying, I think that is happening already.
Yeah, I think
That
we
you
had
could
the
pick,
option.
yeah, we all,
Okay.
from my experience, we had the option of picking what we wanted. So
Yeah.
that is already happening.
And we also had the option years ago in middle school to meet with every middle school teacher on the screen for conference.
And I want to say that a couple of years ago, we had the option of having all the teachers in one room, and you could be in the room and it was like a, 20 or 30-minute block where you were in the same room with all the teachers, which also has, like, it depends on what you want from the meeting.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to, when I hear my kid talking about the class, not just the teacher, I want to be able to picture that, that setup.
I like the in-person.
Yeah.
I think it's helpful for the teacher and me and the student.
Okay, thank you. Christine?
Probably more than you ever wanted to hear, but.
That's why I'm surprised about the middle school being so low. If parents realize you could talk to the whole team at the same time, that would be wonderful. Virtually or in the same room.
Mhm.
That's an important time.
Okay. I wanted to update you on the district quality standards. You know that we had to fill out the rubric. So Larry and I worked on that last week. We've submitted. And I'm going to share what we submitted with you. So we took feedback from the board on those governance standards. Larry, myself, and Jim looked at the business department section, and then I worked with Bridget on there was a small section on education quality standards. So this is the business operations section of the survey. Budgeting and accounting, our practices are very solid. Risk management, data management. So we felt we were advanced based on the criteria on the rubric for the business operations section.
So who's scoring this?
For the business operations sections, it
Yeah.
was Larry, myself, and Jen.
This year it's self-reporting.
Oh, good, okay.
For the facilities management and safety,
And they have a rubric that's much more defined
Yeah.
than this.
this is just the form I wanted you to see how we score. they give you criteria for beginning, approaching, proficient, and advanced.
Good.
So we know we have some work to do, in facilities management. That was really mostly around making sure we have our 5-year plans. up.
5-year plans for all schools, not just some schools, and then also the operations manual. We don't have one, so we're working on one. We're using the state template. We are, I would say, 70-80% done with Windsor. Windsor being the biggest
school.
building by far. And then once we do Windsor, we'll go through all schools because we have to do it by school, not by district.
And we felt we were proficient in facility safety. We have our visitor access policies in place. We'd love to sign in those disciplines. This is the part that we took your feedback to help us score the rubric. We scored under traditional board governance, the policy governance board. There are a couple of, I heard that. There were a couple of standards. I did put what those meant because this is how it came up, and I'm sharing with you how we scored Windsor Southeast Supervisory Union Board. I submitted that. I got feedback that we had to do it for each board. So we went back in, Larry and I last week, and scored for each board, but they were very similar results. So I'm just going to share the SU board information with you. So proficient in all areas in the standard 113.1, which you can see below. Board following an inclusive process to invite and incorporate community input, division and goals, which we did years ago. Time to do it again. Things remain the same and we're not consolidating. I think it's time to revisit our vision and mission. Setting goals, monitoring academic progress. Those are those categories. This was the next standard. And there are a couple of advanced scores. Yeah. This was feedback from all board members. I think we had 12 responses out of, I think we had 12 out of 16.
Total.
Yeah.
Because that's not just the SU boards, all board members.
So that was that standard. The following one was about the board adopting, revising policies, definitely doing that. Ensures the annual budget aligns with stated priorities. Provides an equitable distribution of resources to help meet the needs and goals of every student. Ensures its members are aware of conditions set forth in negotiated agreements and contracts. Ensures its members understand and comply with Vermont statutes and regulations relevant to board work. Staying updated on legislation and policymaking that may affect the school system and students. And maintains an ongoing relationships with locally elected officials. I'm fortunate to have one. It makes it a little easier. This was the education quality standards section. Balanced assessment. We do have a balanced assessment plan that we've had for the past couple of years. And our continuous improvement plan. Engagement and SUSD support. Engagement was approaching and SUSD support was proficient. So we've got a little bit of work to do around education quality standards. So that's been submitted and approved, and it is a self-assessment this year. And the agency, obviously, they're looking at it because they noted that I didn't do the individual board parts of the survey. So I think we'll use it to gauge improvement for the following year. Yes, Dave's, I'm sorry, Bill in the chart on me.
It's your meeting, it's your section, Davis.
Yeah, when those are ready, can we give a look at those at our local board levels?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Do you anticipate that'll be ready for a week from today for
I can do that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd just be interested to see it. Thanks.
Yep. Okay. Just some general updates. We, as we talked about earlier, we are waiting for a model cell phone policy to be released from the agency. I know some districts have created their own. I've looked at a few, but I'm just waiting for the ARE
We should probably wait.
to see what they say.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. They said January, so hopefully by the spring we can get it on well, if it's out in January, we can get it on the agenda to look at in January, but, just wanted to let you know, the work with the nurses on the cardiac response plan, which is required by law. Definitely noticed that we, have a few, machines that are outdated. So we put in the budgets when we noted that we needed additional machines because it's the way it's written, you have to be able to access the machine within 3 minutes.
Mhm.
And if you are on, if you're on the first floor at Weathersfield, it's going to likely take you more than 3 minutes to get on the second floor. So just figuring out where all the machines are and making sure we can get to them in the allotted time, and if not, making sure we purchase additional machines.
So one kind of wonky question here. Do you know what kind of AEDs we're using in the school? Are we using like one uniform kind in the buildings
we're
and
not.
fields?
But
Okay.
we'd like to be
Okay.
because then we can purchase the batteries and the yes, you can only use the pads one time.
Yeah.
So we're trying to all get on the same page. That was a conversation at our last nurses meeting. So, they were looking at pricing.
Mhm. No, that's why I'm asking. Because I am a BLS trainer and I have to work with Zolls, and I think there's another brand that we use, like Reynolds Band or something. But yeah, they do differ pretty substantially in their batteries and their layout and like the way you work them. Like it's all the same basic features, but having to know a bunch of different interfaces when you're in that kind of situation is not the greatest. So
Not ideal. In any sense.
No.
and none of them are like difficult to use, but kind of really when it comes to things like batteries and attaching, you just want to have that be as much of a habit as it can be.
We also have to identify cardiac response team in each building, and all of those people need to be trained. And so we're working on identifying who those people should be and when we're going to train them. So,
And how often do they need to be trained?
we have to keep your certification. I think it's every 2 years.
Yeah, is this the AHA?
Yeah.
Basic life skills.
Yeah.
Yep. That'll be here.
I was just thinking about schools where there's staff turnover and whatnot.
Yeah, we've talked about, strategically who should be on those teams, by position. So if we do have people leave, it'd be a requirement of whoever takes that person's place in that position. So, and also people that, can jump up and run and help in a situation. So principals, school secretaries, people that, not necessarily tied to a classroom, although we have some teachers who are already trained and on response teams. So, so we're working on that. That's due to be in place by the end of the year. The nurses have been great to work with. I'm sure you've all heard, redistricting task force had their final meeting on the 20th. We moved forward with what they said they were going to at the previous meeting. They went forward with the cooperative education services. Not necessarily, I don't know, Elizabeth, would you call it a map slash? And with incentivized mergers and incentivized, or voluntary and incentivized strategic mergers and regional high school mergers. So
With
we'll
no
see.
funding.
With no funding, yeah. So we'll see how that goes in the.
Comprehensive, not just
Yes,
regional.
comprehensive. Well, do you know what committee it will go to first? Doesn't it go to committee? Yes. Whatever they've put forward, does it go to committee, which can then change what the proposal is?
You mean House or Senate?
Yeah.
Uh,
I thought it went to conference committee in the House or the Senate.
no, that's at the end.
Emily said it would go to the House Education.
Yeah, because the bill originated with the House.
Okay.
It probably would go to House first.
And that it can be changed by that.
Oh, yeah.
They can do whatever they want.
They can do whatever they want. There's certain people who are pretty sure that the redistricting task force was, let's say, a starting point.
So I will get updates as the year progresses. We attended our annual mandatory behavior threat assessment training, and some of us went to the Governor's Safety Conference recently. This is the company that the AOA is partnered with. It is Safe and Sound Schools. I will say it was one of the better BTA trainings I've been to. I've been to quite a few. This co-founder, Michelle, had a child who was killed at Sandy Hook. So really, yeah, pretty tragic, but she's taken that experience and done something very positive with it. And so when I went to the safety conference, she presented, and the strand I went to was BTA. And so the online training that we all did was very similar to that, but it doesn't hurt to hear this stuff multiple times. And that, you know, the highlight is that these school shootings are preventable. If you are doing your due diligence and looking for signs and looking at the data and knowing your kids are things that you can put in place to support these students, they don't want to end in violence, but they feel a lack of hope. And oftentimes, if there's no intervention, that's where you get. But if with intervention, it's very preventable, which is great to hear. But it's looking for the warning signs, looking at the risk factors, understanding the path to violence and how it can be stopped, really equating the approach to our MTS system. So it was valuable training, and we've done it. Administrators have done it before, but having our whole behavior threat assessment, the group go, I think was beneficial. So school counselors.
So was that every school building? Was that, and how many people from each building went?
We had administrators, school counselors, home to school coordinator. Those are the key, and the special ed director was there as well, because if the student's on a IEP or 504, they're involved in the decision making around that. So those are the core members of the BTA teams.
So then how does that get, can you just tell us exactly how that gets communicated with the rest of the staff?
If there's a situation?
Yeah.
Well, depending on the situation.
So you have a behavioral threat assessment team in each building.
Yes.
And if there is a
threat.
Oh, it's only in response to a threat?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
I thought it sounded,
It's before something happens.
Well, when there's a threat, you do an assessment and you determine whether it meets a certain criteria, right?
so this makes it sound as though you're monitoring all along to see whether somebody is kind of getting wobbly.
Yeah. That's what I
right?
heard too. That
There are
counselors and things would.
There are going to be signs, but typically, when you're doing the threat assessment, there's a threat's been made. That makes sense.
But they're also looking to stop something that might occur if they see somebody off the rails.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's saying here prevention, response, and recovery, right? So that's kind of the continuum, and I think the connection to multi-tiered systems of support is pretty vital there.
And it's really important when something is seen to know that there is a procedure for the steps to be taken. What happens in all spectrums of issues, be it students with disabilities or someone struggling or issues at home, it's understanding that I see something, and then when it's reported to a level that then there are steps to follow to come up with a positive ending. And so it's just not, if you see something, let's take care of it. There are concrete steps to follow.
But it could be a threat, like, there are threats of self-harm. There are threats of harm to others. That can be, I'm going to you really upset me and I'm gonna beat you up tomorrow. I mean, we'll do a threat assessment on a student that makes a threat to others. That's a sign, can be a sign that something deeper is going on.
Mhm.
So keeping track of those things, oftentimes when we do the assessment, there is no plan. I mean, we have kindergartners who say, I'm gonna kill you, right? They don't necessarily mean it, but we look into it every time because we need to, and we keep track. So,
I would imagine too that the new behavior tracking system that we have in place is probably helpful in this
yeah.
in this
for
area
data.
too. Yeah, just as far as having
Yeah.
a comprehensive database and being able to like.
Yeah, it was a good training, and it's annually required. This was level 1, there's level 2, so you're required to do 1. We didn't do level 2. I think we're looking into whether we can or not feasibly do that training this year or next year.
And how did that was required by the state,
That was
their
required.
AOE.
Yes.
So how did that fit in with the governor's conference on?
The Governor's Safety Conference is an annual event, and it involves school personnel, social workers, police officers. This year it happened to be very similar to the behavior threat assessment. I think that was a concerted effort by the agency to really get this information out there in multiple ways. It doesn't always completely align. I've been to the annual Governor's Conference, Safety Conference several times, but just so happened it's the same presenter. So
That's odd.
yeah, we have contract with that company. Okay, on a positive note, just want to share that over the next year, one of our employees, John McKinney, he's going to engage in HVAC training through VisBit, which is free, I believe, Larry told me it was not enough.
Yeah, it's paid to visit.
Once trained, John will be able to respond to HVAC issues, which ideally will reduce our need to engage with third-party contractors, which depending on the school, we have to do more so than we'd like sometimes. So he'll be able to help with those situations once he's certified, which will ideally save us some money, hopefully. Lastly, I want to share the draft calendar with you. This is a draft. It is the union. I met with the union leadership last week. They have the draft. Sorry, I'm trying to pull it up. Give me a second. They have the draft. They're looking at getting feedback from their membership. So hopefully by next month, the latest January, you'll have the final proposed calendar, but I wanted to share it with you. So what we've been working on is what we've agreed on across the state is the same February and April breaks. They are later as they are this year. The start date.
Did you just say across the state? It'll be a unified calendar?
That February, March breaks.
Oh.
We've been trying
To start.
Well, this year we had the same breaks. So the start date is, we're finding is really hard to line up. We're working regionally to try to line up. So this, Hartford's, I don't think theirs is quite done yet. We are waiting on
They really struggle.
start date for the
They
tech
really-
center. Yeah.
And it's usually up to me to count the days, which
Yeah.
my Infinite Campus does it automatically and point out, this
Yeah.
school, you're missing 3 school days, or you have too many
Check
school
those out
days.
too, Bill, if you want to.
Yeah.
So this is draft. I can send it to you so you can look at it closely. It does have the built-in professional development days, two new teacher days at the beginning of the year. Curriculum departments looked at it and trying to keep in mind, the fewer early release days, the better. It does allow for 2 full weeks in December. Some districts are honoring that because they think it's, they think families like that. It's a nice reset, but the holiday, the Christmas holiday season is later in the week this year. So, think about that before we come back.
One thing is Hartford's doing this year, and
Yeah.
I don't know what the feedback's gonna be from, but instead of doing early releases, they're doing late
Late
starts.
Yeah.
Um, And I can give feedback from what I hear from teachers.
Yeah, good or bad?
Well, so far, I think the advantage of it is that the teachers get a lot more done
Mhm.
in those
Okay.
meetings. And it's less disruptive, especially for parents who have, kids with after-school programs.
Yeah, okay. How many, like, what's the, how
I think they
long,
do
2
once.
hours? 2 hours?
Yes, yeah, they have a
Okay.
10 o'clock start.
Okay,
What one's on here, or, sorry, can I ask a question?
Sure.
What ones on here are, half days? It's just hard for me to tell. Is it the yellow or the,
It is the pink with
Oh.
the parentheses.
okay.
So
Oh, they're all over the place.
21st of October. December is traditionally,
we do a staff, gathering for culture and wellness on that early release day. I know that they do appreciate that greatly, so. That's a December, February, and then May, so was that 4? We really tried to limit them, we know
That's
that's,
for,
we know they're hard on families, and part of our work in negotiations was we got rid of 2 of them for parent-teacher conferences, so 4 seems doable, I guess.
None are on Mondays.
We tried to stay away from Mondays, we tried to stay away from Fridays, but there is one on there, it just.
all Fridays.
Fridays are tough, for participation, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can send it, I'll send it to you so you can see it, and, we'll bring it back next month if that's okay. Okay. All right, Bill, that is my report.
Thank you, Christine.
Yeah.
Tracy.
So,
Hi, everyone. I do want to apologize because I did get the memo from the board and from Christine to do every other month reports. And I got it and somehow I forgot about it and reverted back to monthly. So even though I reported last month, so I'm going to report this month, we decided since I had already shared it, I'll report this month, but then I will skip next month. So let me go ahead and pull this up here. Okay. Are you all seeing that? I feel like you disappeared from my screen. Can you
Yes.
see that? Okay, great. So I'll run through if anybody wants to, if anyone has any questions, just please let me know. Just wanted to share, this is basically the overall calendar for the year. So this is showing when we have equity coach meetings, those are in pink. I work with ad team once a month, those are in the darker gray. And then the bottom row is when all staff meetings are led by equity coaches in the buildings. We do have another DEI in-service themed day, March 2nd. So just wanted to share that. I'll share a little bit more about what the plan is for that day. And if anybody's interested in joining, please be encouraged to join in for that day. So this is just when we think about like trying to find some alignment. I mean, we're doing this work in all the buildings. All the buildings have slightly different needs, slightly different context conversations. And so trying to find some alignment around what we're working on. So you can see from this is looking at like some of the work happening between now and the end of December. We've been trying to get input on the active hate policy to support some draft procedures for that. Also reviewing the transgender policy. We do have some draft procedures that Laura Pasco, who we worked with last year, is going to revise those so that they align with the new policy that y'all just passed tonight. And I just want to share a little bit more about how we're envisioning these all staff meetings in our buildings by equity coaches. So we're looking at them. This is just an example of like what an all staff meeting could look like. Weaving in themes like November, right? We have these themes, Native American Heritage Month. We have Transgender Awareness Month and Week. The Day of Remembrance was the 20th, inclusive holidays, right? So if there's a way that we can weave that into what happens during those all staff meetings. So this is just an overview of a flow. It's only 30 minutes. So it's not a lot of time, but one of the things that we're trying to do more of, and I'm also doing this more when I meet with administrators, is to review scenarios, right? To review some of the scenarios that are coming in from equity tickets and talk about them. How would we practice responding to those in the moment? Trying on the equity filter, getting in the practice of always asking, right, who's missing and why? So one example of what that might look like is here is an equity ticket scenario around disabilities and the R word, right? So the scenario, again, these are pulled right from our equity tickets, anonymized a little bit here. But like, you know, as you can see, there are some examples. And so this is the thing I think I've heard most consistently from staff since I started working here is just like the need to practice what to do in the moment when these things happen. How do you tend to the person or people who may be impacted? So really just trying to create more space for staff to do some of that. So how do you respond, right? What are all the things that you might consider? Again, really, this is a practice in trying on an equity filter, building capacity to be able to respond in the moment. Another thing that we are looking at piloting between now and March is that we want to, and this is something I've been working with Bridget around and some of our equity coaches, is a pilot audit of some of the modules that we're teaching to look again, applying those same questions, who's missing and why. We also know, right, according to the new EQS, that we're required to provide education, you know, that's equitable, anti-racist, culturally responsive, anti-discriminatory, and inclusive. And so, and that also supports the ethnic studies, the IRIS framework, all of this, right? And so what we decided that we want to do is try on, there's a scorecard that was developed by NYU Metropolitan Center for Research on Equity and the Transformation of Schools. We looked at, and this is just one resource, right? We know like Great Schools Partnership has also developed other resources. We have the Education Justice Coalition here in Vermont that's also developed some training materials. And so we've got like lots of different things that we can choose from. This scorecard is pretty cool because it just walks you through looking at like representation, looking at how different characters, different people are represented, trying to avoid, right, stereotypical representations of folks, also asking about things, whether it's first person authors that are being used to tell stories. So this is essentially, we talked about piloting this, having equity coaches and a volunteer teacher just try this on, looking at one module that they're teaching and see, like, how did that go? You know, what would we need to be able to do something like this more broadly? So I feel like there's like two parts to this, right? We've got the one part, which is we have to identify gaps and where things are. And then the other piece is like, we have to identify ways to fill those gaps, which I know I've mentioned that we have a grant to work with Clemens Family Farm. And so they would be one of those providers who could help us fill some of those gaps. So it's kind of like we're trying to do a little bit of both at the same time. And again, you know, asking, just getting in that practice of who's missing and why, right? So for the March 2nd DEI themed day, we're really thinking about setting it up in these three different focused areas. So so we'll give staff the opportunity to pick one of these three areas. These seem to be the things that keep coming up, right? What I was just talking about is EQS, culturally orientation. And so that's going to be one track for the day that staff can sign up for, and they're going to be in that session all day, right? Which will be a mix of doing, for all of these, we want to do a mix of some framing, some shared learning, capacity building, and application. So we'll have EQS, culturally responsive focus. We'll have a universal design learning neuro-inclusive focus, and we're partnering with Hannah Marcos with the Vermont Higher Ed Collaborative. And so she's going to be helping us do that track for that day. And then we're also going to have one on reflective restorative practices, and we are likely going to be working with Up for Learning to hold space for that day. That's another one of those things we keep talking about doing. We know we have it in our policies that say we're going to do more restorative practices, but it's just finding the time to actually spend doing it when we have, you know, we don't have a lot of in-service time. So we're hoping to keep working with these three different focus areas for professional development. And we're still sort of figuring out what that can look like going into next school year. Like, how do we carry these themes through into next school year? And so in this image, you can also see That inner ring, like the diversity, equity, inclusion, trauma transformed, MTSS, collaborative problem solving, those are some of the things that we've already, we've been working on. A lot of our staff are trained in trauma transform practices and MTSS and all that. And then the outside ring is also, we want to make sure it's always in support of our portrait of a graduate, right? How do all of these things ultimately help build capacity and those skills for students? This isn't the final version of this, so I'll share once it's finalized, but there's been some work over this last year. I think I've mentioned engaging in this, the diversifying the educator workforce. This is being led by the Great Schools Partnership. And so all of that work has gone into this recommendation guide. I will share it as soon as it is ready to be released, but it has a lot of different recommendations in there, organized into the 3 key areas you can see on your screen: creating a pipeline for educators of color, hiring educators of color, and sustaining educators of color in Vermont. So some policy, there are a lot of different recommendations in there, and I'll share as soon as it is available. And then the last thing I wanted to share, which Christine already queued this up, this was, we brought some students to Woodstock High School, has been organizing a youth summit. I think this was the 5th annual summit that they did. It was hosted, it was in Killington, and the theme for this year was really around democracy, climate justice, and also the LGBTQ plus community, more specifically, some of the attacks on the LGBTQ plus community in recent days. So they had Representative Becca Ballant was there, and she spoke. Joe Major was there. And then students broke out into those 3 different areas, and it was all student led, which was super cool. And there were more students there this year than there were last year, and some students from Hartford were also there. So hopefully this will be something we can grow participation in each year. And I think that is all that I've got. So short, so I'm gonna pause there if anybody has any questions or comments.
Any questions? Thank you, Tracy. Illuminating as always. Sure, go ahead.
So is this where, now can I ask? Like my questions about Act 1? Where?
Sure.
Okay. Just for future planning.
Yeah.
It requires annual reporting on graduation versus dropout rate, or graduation rate and dropout rate. It requires reporting on student social and emotional well-being, on discipline, including suspensions and types of suspensions, on HHB, on IEP rates and 504s, and on extracurricular participation and types.
Most of that's already included in the federal reporting, civil rights.
What's interesting, some of that stuff is on the student characteristics part of the AOE website, but it has been updated since 2019.
Yeah.
I have had emails going back with the AOE going back a year, and they haven't updated it.
Graduation rates.
Yeah.
Graduation rates, HHB, IEP, and I for the life of me, I can't get a straight answer on why it hasn't been updated since 2019.
Have you ever read the California education law? It is really specific on what the state data must do and how they must do it.
Oh, their data is awesome in
Yeah.
California. It's really good.
Well, it's all
In Washington.
it's all within statute.
But it's also, it's not just about what's collected and how it's collected, but it's also about access
Presenting
to
and
it.
access to
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So Elizabeth, annual reports, graduation rates and dropout rates, student social emotional well-being, is that what you said?
Yeah,
Okay, I missed one before HHB.
discipline
And
and including suspensions and types of suspensions.
yeah.
HHB, IEP rates and 504s.
Yep.
Extracurricular participation. I mean, we already do a lot of these, but there are just a couple that are,
That's
Right.
great.
they're also just for next week. There's a whole bunch of stuff on flexible pathways as well. Required reporting on flexible pathways.
Okay, yeah, and,
CTE, virtual learning, work-based learning, service, like data on CTE, virtual learning, work-based learning, service learning and internships, community research, civic engagement, and dual enrollment.
and Kim is reporting next week, next Monday. She, sent me her report today, so I asked Lori to link it to the agenda. You can see it ahead of time. And there's lots of links within her report, so.
So the federal, civil rights reporting is every 2 years.
Is it still done?
Well, it's been 3 years in a row because they skipped one in.
They now no longer have a civil rights division. So there's that.
But, I mean, yeah.
But the civil rights division is gone.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you don't have to do that again. But it sounds like this Act One is narrowing that, a lot of those things in which you have to report, 504s on every student who's getting suspended, in school, out of school, gender, race.
For your reference, Christine, because I have it up already, I'll just send you a link
That'd
to,
be great.
because I
Thank you.
got really intimate with it last night. Weird way.
Okay. Thank you, Elizabeth. Items for discussions followed by a motion if needed. A, algebra for 8th grade. We are gonna vote on this tonight, and the reason we're gonna vote on this is because we voted to create it, this board. And so I think through discussion, what we discussed last week, allowing individual schools to create and pursue the path for 8th grade algebra that fits their needs best. And so to be able to do it more organically, I think we've found, and I mean we as in the educational world, that just having an 8th grade algebra and cutting out all actual 8th grade curriculum can be somewhat detrimental. So I think, so any discussion on that? Because we are doing discussion then.
Are we making a motion to, if we're voting on it?
Yeah, well, let's make a motion. Because it says in the directions here, item for discussion, followed by motion. So I'm like, should we just make a motion and then discussion? Or should we discuss it and then make a motion? I will take a motion to allow, I will take a motion to rescind our last vote on creating a SUY 8th grade graduation class and allowing individual school districts to pursue this more organically.
You said graduation in algebra?
What did I say?
Graduation.
Oh, algebra, yes. We'll take a motion to rescind our vote on 8th grade algebra and allow districts to create programs organically that fit their needs.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. We'll take a voice vote. Heather, oh no.
Hold on, I just have a
Discussion.
quick question to make sure I'm understanding. So basically, we're voting to say we do not have to do this algebra as a supervisory union, but each school within the district or in the supervisory union could choose their own path. Is that accurate?
Yes. And if, for example, it works out that, say, Wethersfield has the opportunity to send students to Windsor, Wethersfield can decide to do that. So it's just not, they don't have to do it. So you could do however your school district feels is most appropriate for your students. So the answer to your question, Beth, is yes. Any other discussion?
It is on our admin agenda to, knowing that each school has different resources and different needs,
Mhm.
depending on the year, different number of students that might want to engage in algebra. But what we do offer, we want it to be pretty consistent across the SU, so kids get a similar experience. So figuring out what that looks like is on our agenda. And then
I have a question. This isn't random. This is not me just popping in and saying, does flexible pathways extend down to 7th and 8th grade? But does it? And is that a pathway for students to access algebra?
we have extended them, not regularly, but we have. I think in Weathersfield this year, there are 3 or 4 students that were interested. So they are taking a UTBLC course in algebra supported by the math teacher. They figured it out how they can have this particular math teacher there. I think it's during their win time. So she may be
So like a
supporting
flipped
other
classroom?
students and they're doing this,
Yeah.
but she checks in. So so the answer is yes. I think flexible pathways can be at the 7th and 8th grade level. I'm trying to work it out. Windsor, Mount Scottney School District is the only district with a flexible pathway coordinator. And she's specific to Mount Scottney, but I mean, she doesn't help, across the SU. So yeah, I think it would be great to bolster those opportunities for 7th and 8th graders.
Like, why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Beth,
So would our options be able to, like, we reach outside of our supervisory union then?
yes, yeah, there's absolutely no reason why not. I mean, I know, most concrete example of this is Hartford no longer has an 8th grade, algebra. Because they have found that skipping, having a separate algebra class has been detrimental to the development of many of their math students who then try to go on to Algebra 2 in the high school. So they're creating other opportunities for students to get those skills if they wish. And they also run a pretty elaborate summer school as well. And so if one example, if Hartford runs an Algebra 1 summer school, then there's no reason why Weathersfield couldn't participate and send students up there.
Or Heartland.
Or Heartland,
Right.
or yeah. So,
Yeah.
Yes,
Just to kind of boil this all down conceptually, it sounds like what we're doing is that we're freeing up resources that had been devoted to offering Algebra 1 in our buildings and allowing for the flexibility then for students who want to seek that out to do it without maybe dedicating resources that are not being utilized.
specifically offering an algebra at the Windsor School.
Yes, yes. Got it.
Thank you for clarifying that. It's just, I think that needed to be boiled down.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it can get a little up there, but that functionally, that's what we're doing. And it
Right.
sounds like in practice, some of this is already happening and
Right.
it seems like there's a kind of model out there that folks are following, so.
Okay, there's no more discussion. We'll take a vote, and I'll start with Nancy.
Didn't we say, oh yeah, we did, yes, aye.
Davis?
Aye.
Elizabeth?
Aye.
Megan?
Aye.
Amy?
I question the overall equity, but I'll say aye.
Okay. Beth?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Anne Marie?
Aye.
And I am an aye. Okay, thank you. And Amy, that is something to keep in mind as well. And possibly something for Tracy to keep an eye on as well. To see who are we leaving out. Second signer for checks. Where are we at with that?
I have followed up twice since the last SU board meeting to Cindy at the bank, but she must be busy, so I will physically go and
Okay.
ask.
Okay,
I've done it through email.
okay. Thank you, Larry.
Yeah.
C, contract negotiations for the superintendent. I guess I'm wondering, what are people's preferences here? Last time, the board voted to give me authority to negotiate with, Christine. I am happy to do that again. I am happy to have company. What are people's preferences?
You do it.
I don't think we should be having this discussion until she's been reviewed.
Well, we probably won't have this discussion until after she's been reviewed, but I think that this is on the agenda and how we're going to pursue. So, I'm hoping to have the review, finished in January. Davis?
Yeah, I mean, I think I understand where you're coming from, but I do think this is like a process, not an outcome question, right?
Right.
So I think just making sure that we understand in the event that we opt to renew contract, this is where we would go.
Right.
And obviously if that doesn't happen, then we would do superintendent search and all that fun stuff.
No, we've already decided that we're going to hire Christine. That was no, that was not.
I know.
Yes,
Sorry, I floated in the hypothetical mode for a minute. Yes, I mean,
Yeah, so we
there's
offered
not a
her
question
the
in my
position.
mind, but
We offered her the position. I believe she's accepted.
yeah.
And so now we have to get our ducks in a row to negotiate a new contract.
Thank you for setting the base of reality for me there. Yes. But yeah, I mean, even more so than like, we know that we're heading that direction. So yeah, we're not talking about the substance of those conversations.
Right.
We're talking about the structure under which those conversations
Right.
will take place.
Yeah.
Because we're at full off the road there. My apologies.
I will say that, when David was our superintendent, it was the executive committee that negotiated his contract together.
And who would be the executive committee now?
The chairs of all.
Chairs of the board. Okay.
Oh,
I,
And the supervisory union board chair.
right. And
That's part
so
of that.
I am happy to have the chairs join me. I am happy to be in contact with the chairs and have an open discussion with Christine. I'm happy to do it. However, this SU board would like to move forward. Heather.
Bill, if you want to continue the dream team, I will be on the dream team with you.
Okay.
I'm fine being on the team also.
Okay.
I'm actually
Yeah,
the board chair, not Heather, so I don't know if that's different.
Yeah,
But I'm
no, I
happy to
think
be
there's
on it, however you want to structure it.
Yeah, I think there's some value there. I mean, obviously you are an experienced and skilled negotiator, and I think you should be involved no matter what role the chair in, given that. But I think there's some value too in involving chairs, just for perspective and also for experience in that particular process. I'd certainly like to be there.
Okay. So this is what I'm hearing, that and I don't think we really need to vote on this unless we were, well, maybe we should. I will take a motion that the committee to negotiate Christine's next contract will be all the board chairs, including Mount Scottney board chair, Weathersfield board chair, Heartland Board Chair and the Windsor Southeast Supervisory Board Chair.
Not just
So
Heather.
We're gonna do, I think that makes sense to, include the board chairs. And that's sort of, you know, what I'm hearing from, a majority of the board chairs. And I'll be open for discussion. I don't necessarily want to exclude Heather. But I think it makes sense that if we're gonna do the executive board, that would be the directions.
Oh, there's the note.
I don't need to. I just have.
she just had so much fun.
Okay. Yes, yes, on that.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
When, she says she's not offended. When we did it before this way, we were careful to make sure that the executive committee kept the rest of the SU board informed. The reason I'm pausing is to think whether we then also kept, local boards informed.
I think that would be up to the board chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I will take a voice vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Okay. It is unanimous. Thank you. Setting the next agenda.
Well, we're gonna have a whole new batch of policies to
So
review.
exciting.
Yes. We've got D24, special education.
When is our December meeting?
15th.
Oh, the
Thursday,
15th.
so it's soon.
Yeah.
So it's earlier.
Mhm.
D20, December 15th.
Mhm.
Will be on break. E21, distribution of non-school sponsored literature. I have the cell phone policy on here. If it's ready in time, it might not be. We need to
It's
move
not.
that one.
That's
Yeah. B3, alcohol and drug-free workplace.
Hopefully I'll have an answer from Ascoma on the second signer.
Yeah.
We think it's Nancy, but we want to confirm it.
We have on here, Larry, procurement policy. We have to add auditor's language, sam.gov. I put a note from a long time
Yes.
ago, so
It's,
that.
the auditors want one line in our procurement policy to match what we have to do with federal money anyway. So it's very rote.
Okay.
Is that within a policy that you're talking about?
Yeah, so when we do money for federal, when we use federal money,
yeah,
we have to go on a stand-up and make sure that the vendor's not disbarred. Yeah, they want us to add that to the line.
Okay.
In the policy. It's something we do in our procedures. We just, it's not a policy.
That makes sense.
We've got, superintendent report. We've got, we don't have other reports. It's just reported tonight. There's a calendar, item for discussion calendar. We have to approve the tuition rate by early January, Larry. That's on your.
That's locals, right?
Yeah, that's locals. Okay, that's locals. So anything else? Bill?
Is there any interest to reach out to administrators? Well, you're talking about the calendar.
Talking about the calendar.
That's coming up.
Yep.
About, early, instead of early release.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to Bridget about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know where to do that yet. So I will,
And if you want me to,
yeah,
or you can as well, touch base with
Julie.
how they, with Katie and see how that's going.
And they say for now.
Zachary, you still here? Okay, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I will take a voice vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye.